Hey guys, so this is actually gonna be my first video of story time, and by the title of this video, yes, I'm not gonna say any names, but it all started off, we followed each other on Instagram, and he was actually like my Instagram crush. So we actually started talking on there, and then we just made this whole thing into like a relationship. It was a long distance kind of relationship because he was living in Hawaii and I'm living here in Los Angeles. So I was like, you know what, like we could make this work, blah blah blah. So I noticed things got sketchy because everything was all good. He was texting me good morning, good night. He was always FaceTiming me. I sent him stuff like his favorite snacks. I sent him clothes. And you know what? Like, he promised me to send me stuff too. Like, like jewelry, bags, whatever, anything that I wanted. And you know what? It didn't happen. So my ass did not care at all. So I was like, you know what? Whatever. Like, I have him. That's all it matters. But after that, after that, months later, I noticed he hasn't been, been constant with me. He hasn't been replying lately. He hasn't been answering my calls, whatever. But then all of a sudden, like, baby, I'm gonna see you like this week, blah 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 blah. So we planned it, and then he showed me his ticket, everything. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm like, you know what? I called up my best friend. I was like, Danny, we're gonna go to LAX after work, so come pick me up, and then we're gonna get all this and this and this. So basically the plan was I was gonna meet him in the airport, meet for the first time, and go out or whatever, out to eat. So by the time when my ass is all the way to LAX, I get a text from him. You know what? I can't do this anymore. My mom was right. I don't think this long distance is not gonna work. Blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, nigga, are you serious? Like, I'm just like all confused. I'm just like, huh? Like, why? He's like, you know what? I've been thinking. I'm like, really? When I'm on my way to see you, you're just gonna break it off like that? Like, I was like, huh? Okay. So I was like, you know what? Tomorrow we have to talk about this. Okay, we have to talk. It can't end like this. It's ridiculous. He's like, okay, you know what? Let's just talk it out tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna meet you here. I met him there, and guess what? He had me waiting for like 3 hours. And I'm like, okay, he's not coming. So then, you know what? If you can't come to me, I'm gonna go to you, homie. So then I called up my girls. We drove all the way to Long Beach. And then I kept texting him, kept Snapchatting him, be like, you know what? I'm here. Like, let's just talk. You know what? Since I'm just gonna make it easier for you, I'm gonna go to you. Nothing, did not pick up my calls, did not pick up my texts. All I just see is Snapchat. I'm just like, huh? So, okay, like he didn't prove that he was here. So I'm like, okay. So then all of a sudden he's like, okay, you know what, baby? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I still love you, still miss you. Let's just meet up tomorrow. Okay, I'm like, so basically we went over to Long Beach again. I was like, where you at? He's like, I got into trouble. Okay. I was like, where you at? And he's like, I'm in the hospital. Okay, give me the hospital name. We'll go to you. Where my friend was all like, you know what? Let's call the hospital first to see he's actually there. We called the hospital. Hey, is so patient there because we're just going to visit, blah, 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 blah. They're like, oh, so-and-so's name is actually not here. And I'm just like, I'm looking at my friends like, this nigga just lied to me again. So I'm like, is this guy really here? Like, I'm like, all thinking about him, if everything's adding up, like, he wouldn't post anything, he wouldn't answer my calls, he wouldn't admit, he didn't even show me his ticket. Like, did he really just play me? Like, my ass went all the way to Long Beach. So then I'm like, you know what, this nigga's playing me, whatever. I told me, you know what, it's over. I don't want to talk to you. You're full of shit. You're just a phony guy. And then all of a sudden he texts me, you know what, baby, I'm sorry. Like, I'm already back home in Hawaii. Like, he FaceTimed me in his room. This nigga's in Hawaii. Like, there is no way you can just go to Hawaii that quickly. Like, your ass was never out here. I'm just like, really? So then my ass, like, we basically just worked things out again. But the second time he was like, you know what, I'm coming back to Hawaii. Or coming back to Long Beach. Okay, this time we're gonna make everything right. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna pick you up. Let's meet up. try this again, but this time it was gonna be by myself. On my way to the airport, I'm like, you know what, Danny, you have to come with me. So then Danny came with me. And then all of a sudden he texts me. He's all like, you know what, my flight got delayed. I'm like, okay, so we're going to see each other tomorrow. So then he's like, I'm only here for 2 days, so let's just make it worth it. I'm like, okay. The next day, okay, we're going to meet up. He was like, yeah, we're going to meet up. Same thing. Gave me the runaround. Did not show up whatsoever. I was like, you know what, I'm just done with this nigga. Like, that's it. And then all of a sudden he hits me up. He's like, oh, I have cancer. Like, is that why you're not gonna see me, because you have cancer? Like, okay. So then all of a sudden I see his Snapchat smoking a cigarette. Like, okay. So then all of a sudden, like, weeks pass, and then I'm like, okay, so you're back in Hawaii? He's like, no, I'm still here in Long Beach. I'm like, okay. I was like, because he's complaining that he doesn't know how long he's gonna live. Like, I'm not trying to say anything, but you can't just play around like that. And then all of a sudden he's talking about, you know what, I'm getting to some kind of trouble. Like, he's just like venting out to me. Like, nigga, like, you know what? Like, I don't care now. Like, how are you gonna say, do this, all this shit to me, and you expect me to return something back? It's a respect thing. So yeah, then all of a sudden, now he kind of saw me, like, I moved on. Like, I'm just happy with what I have right now. Like, we don't really talk as much till this day, but yeah, that's my story with him. Like, honestly, basically, till this day, we haven't even seen each other. And you know what? And I'm okay with that, because I'm probably never gonna see him, and he's just gonna keep lying. So yeah, that's my story. So till next time, I will tell a different one. All right, well, thanks for listening. But yeah, I will come up with more stories. All right, guys, comment down below, like this video, subscribe. I will catch you guys next time.